Well, good morning, friends. We are just on our way out to our shed, aka the sugar shack. We are going to check on some sap that should be just about boiled down and ready to come inside to finish making maple syrup. And so I'm going to show you what our setup is for boiling and how we take that sap from the trees and make it into delicious maple syrup. Here in our shed, we have a wood fire that we use on cooler days when we are trying to boil, help keep the shed warmer. We do not boil over wood because we just don't have that set up. Looks like we're good on wood right now, so I'm not gonna add any. To keep it nice and warm in here, helps keep it drier and helps boil faster. Here is our actual boiling setup. So we have a 70-quart pot on a propane burner. And ideally we would have a bigger surface area pot versus one that is so deep, but this is the setup that we have right now, and it's worked for us for a few years now. So this sap, I don't know if you can see down in there from the steam. Oh, that doesn't help any. We are getting close to it being ready to come in. We are down right about here, and I will then filter it into, so I've got, oops. So then I will take and filter it into this pot that I will take and finish off on my stove. I put a colander in there, and then I lay my cheesecloth in there. I have it doubled over. Right now it's more than doubled. And then I will just pour right from this pot down into there. I do like to filter at this stage of going from the big pot down to the smaller pot because it takes a lot of that crud out, and it's easier to filter when it's thinner versus when you have thick syrup. But I will filter again through the same cheesecloth. Obviously I'll clean it out, and then we will filter at the end as well. Here is the cheesecloth that I use, and I believe I found this on Amazon. I will try to link it in the description if I can find a similar one to link for you guys. We collect our sap mainly in a 5-gallon bucket. We do have a few hanging bags further down the tree line there, you can see, and we will just empty those into our buckets, and then I just pull the hose out and transport this bucket back to the shed, dump it out, and then we just bring it back out. The sap isn't running right now, so it is the perfect time to go ahead and empty these buckets and get them ready for another day of sap run. So our bags are actually frozen solid this morning, so we're just gonna let them hang for now, and once it warms up today and they're able to thaw, we will empty them. And I usually leave just a little bit of sap left in the bottom there so that they don't blow as much in the wind. And if you missed in a previous video, I shared my corn cob shim. Usually get that in there like that, and that helps keep these from blowing so much in the wind as well. There we go, that'll just finish filtering into the pot, and we will take this into the house. It's time to refill the pot with, there's a chicken in here. We need to refill the pot with more sap that looks just like water. This has some ice in it because it's so cold out. We're gonna put that in the pot and fill it back up. We're back inside, and I just got this pot turned on the stove. I have it just over medium heat right now, and we're gonna get this to come to a boil. And I do have my thermometer set in there. You want to bring your syrup to 7 degrees above the boiling temp of water. Water boils with this thermometer at 210 degrees Fahrenheit. I do recommend checking that with your thermometer. Just bringing water to a boil with your thermometer and seeing at what temp it boils. And so I will bring this up to 217, and I won't stop it right when it gets there. I will let it
stay at 217 consistently and let it boil for a little bit longer, a few minutes anyways, to thicken it up. I will show you once this gets rolling and as we finish off this syrup. We are boiling now. I have turned the heat up a little bit higher to keep this boiling where I want it. And then our temperature right now, we are at 214, so we've got a little ways to go yet before we are to syrup. So our thermometer is just starting to beep as it's reaching 217. It's not right now. It's come back down, but it's just starting to pop up there, beep a few times, and then come back down. And so that is a good sign. We are getting really, really close to being done with this syrup. Now we are getting to where we are consistently hitting 217, and this is what I want that syrup to look like when I know it's getting done. So I will let this boil for just a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna shut the heat off, let this all settle down, and I am going to let mine cool a little bit, and I will pour mine, filter it into hot jars. I do not plan to can this batch at all, but you certainly could seal off your jars if you wish.
So the batch I just filtered may end up a little bit thinner than I would like for maybe pancakes. So I wanted to show you a batch that I did the other day. This is a much thicker batch, and this just came out of the fridge, so it is quite thick. And this, maybe I just left boiling a little bit longer than the batch today. But every boil will be a variation of different, but we have lots more maple syrup for baking and enjoying with fresh pancakes. If you like this video, as always, I would so appreciate it if you'd hit like and subscribe to come back and see more of our videos on maple syrup and sourdough and all things gluten-free.